So I've got a whole table full of glorious homeschool resources to share with you guys today. Let's jump right in. Hi, I am Rachel. I am a second generation homeschooler who is homeschooling overseas. And our family just got some visitors from the US. And if you are homeschooling overseas and you also have family in the US, you probably know that what that means is a whole suitcase full of delicious and delightful homeschool resources and good books. And that's exactly what they brought us. We welcomed our visitors with great joy, and we also welcomed their luggage with great joy. So I've got lots to show you today in a lot of different categories. We've got a lot of early elementary stuff because that's the season I'm heading into with my own sons, but we also have some middle school materials for my sister. We've got science, math, Bible, read alouds, all sorts of stuff. So let's jump right in. Now, if you want to see any more about some of these resources, definitely let me know. You probably will see these coming up in future videos. I will just kind of be quickly introducing and going through things in this video because we do have a lot to get through. So first up, and we are trying some very new things. Quite a few things in this haul are from companies or brands that we have never used before. So I got Zaner Blozer's Spelling Connections. I got the first grade level as well as the second grade level for something new to try as we head into spelling in early elementary. I've only got a chance to quickly flip through things, but I've heard good things, and I'm liking what I see so far as the variety and depth of activities for just working with words and getting to know words well. In the same Zaner Blozer order, I ordered their Spanish edition of their writing curriculum. They're very well known for their handwriting curriculum, and they have it available in English or Spanish. I got level 3 because that's when cursive is incorporated. We're not going to be ready to use this quite yet, but I'm excited. I had heard this recommended from Homeschool Aventuras on Instagram, that she uses La Escritura with her bilingual kids. It's an easy way to add some Spanish into the homeschool day. Next is also something very, very new, which is Beast Academy Math, and we got all of level 2. So there's 8 books. There are 4 guidebooks for the 4 quarters of the school year and 4 practice books as well. The guidebooks are all the Beast Academy comic book style, and then the practice books are in black and white. They have solutions in the back, and that's what gives you all your work. This is very new to me. I've been very hesitant to jump on the Beast Academy train because I personally am not a fan of comic books or graphic novels. I wasn't even when I was a kid. I just like the more traditional read-a-book style. But I've heard this recommended so many times for kids who are very math-oriented, very interested in math, and that describes my son to a T. I don't think that the comic book style is going to bother him, so we're going to try this out. This is going to come up. You'll hear about some of my plans for that in future videos. Next up, this was actually a Christmas present that I asked for. Pro tip, if you want something expensive for your homeschool, but you're kind of having trouble justifying the purchase, ask for it for Christmas. So my parents got me this for Christmas. This is the Alfred Rex Bible Storybook, and this is scheduled for use in Sequence 1 from Gentle and Classical, and I believe it's intended to be used in Sequence 2 when that comes out as well. This is not a full Bible text. It's a storybook Bible, but it is hefty. So this is a more advanced storybook Bible. There's more stories, longer stories than many of the typical little kids storybook Bibles. It's kind of leveling up a little bit. Here we're having the story of Zerubbabel leads the exiles back to Jerusalem. There's pronunciation guides at the bottom. There are discussion questions at the end of every story. And there are also these really, really cool engravings, most of which are from, I believe, the 18th century engravings, so an old style of artwork, which I think my boys are really going to enjoy. They kind of are drawn to these realistic, older style of painting or drawings, art, and illustrations. So this will be fun, and we will be using that with Sequence 1. Next up, for older kids, we have General Science 2 and General Science 1 from Master Books, Survey of Earth and Sky, and Survey of Geology and Archaeology. These are the teacher's guides. And then the student books are really, really nice. These are hardcover. One thing I noticed right away was like the paper is thick, nice quality, very, very colorful with their illustrations, a lot of information, a lot of words on the page, but also a lot of illustrations. And so for each level of this science, there are 4 hardcover books that you go through. So you're kind of on one theme for a quarter of the school year, learning about that theme. And then I believe that the student worksheets and tests and everything you can find in the teacher's book, and you can make copies of those from here. So this is for my sister in middle school. We were just really looking for something different. As far as a middle school science option, we weren't feeling like any of the resources we had were the best fit. So we've never tried master books before. This is going to be all new to us, and new getting the hang of using these materials, but exciting new topics. I think it'll be kind of fun to dive into one topic for 9 weeks of the school year. Now I'm gonna start diving into just my big pile of books. Most of that was curriculum. Now books that are associated with certain curriculums. You all know I love a literature-based homeschool style. We incorporate a lot of books into our learning. And I got most of these from thrift books. All the homeschool moms talk about it. If you haven't used it yet, you should definitely be using it. I'll leave my thrift books link down below. But use thrift books because you can get books that were like $18 brand new for like $4 instead. And $4 is better. So this is St. George and the Dragon. This edition, I believe, was recommended by Amy from Humility and Doxology on Instagram. And she just said it was a really, really nice edition of this story. St. George and the Dragon, this tale is included in Gentle and Classical Primer, which we're going through this year. And it's such a classic tale. I feel it's one that we'll probably be coming back to again and again in different parts of our literary adventure in homeschool. So I figured, hey, let's get this. It was really cheap too, thrift books. I also got a variety of math-themed picture books, all chosen from Kate Snow's. I believe these were from the 2nd grade and 3rd grade levels. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to get all the books recommended, but I tried to pick a variety of ones on different topics. So this one is on the topic of multiplication. So I was trying to get different math topics represented. Minnie's Diner looked really fun. I also just look for what looks fun among these math books. Fun and silly. Kids love that. So multiplication and food here. This book is not connected to anything we're studying right now. But it's connected to Asian history, which is a passion topic for me, something I love to have resources for and to teach on. And this is Mao and Me. I'd heard very, very good things about this picture book, which was written by an author who grew up during the Mao era. And I'd heard very good things, so I wanted to add it to my collection. And this will probably be something that we can use once we start studying more modern history. So I'll be holding on to this for a bit, but I'm excited to have this in the collection for the future. Then I got Roverandom by Tolkien. I went on a big Tolkien kick last year as I was creating the literature guides for the Lord of the Rings series and developed a very deep appreciation for his writing. So I wanted to add this to my collection. I've never read it. It's one of his more simple stories, aimed a little bit younger. It's a short book, nothing like those hefty Lord of the Rings volumes, but I think we'll be able to use this as a read aloud in the next couple years of homeschool. A few other read aloud options, or potentially just early chapter book options for my boys. These were highly recommended by some homeschool moms. Skunk and Badger and Egg Marks the Spot. They're part of the same series. 2 friends, a skunk and a badger. I don't know much about it beyond that, but I'm excited to look into these. These might go on our read aloud list for this year. Have not yet decided. I also got some books for me that I just wanted to read because as moms, we have to remember we can also continue to read for ourselves. I got Gary Schmidt's The Labors of Hercules Beale. I'm a huge fan of Gary Schmidt's books. I've read many of them. This is the new one that I had not been able to get yet, and I believe, like, I haven't read it yet, but I suspect that I will be creating a literature guide based off of this. I suspect it will give me some good fodder for a literature guide. I'm excited to read this. And then this was one I've wanted for a while but was not able to get locally, The Habits of the Household by Justin Early. Several years ago, I read The Common Rule by the same author and found it very inspiring, encouraging, challenging, and I've heard a lot of great things about his newer book, Habits of the Household. So I'm excited to read this for myself, get some good nonfiction, parenting, working on growth and challenging ourselves to continue growing and learning as adults and parents. I've got a few more math books here. Here's Remainder of One. So I think that's dividing, since it's about a remainder. Follow the Money, so money-related one. I also looked for authors that we had already read some of their math books. This was Loren Lady. She has several really funny math books that my boys have enjoyed. I got one on Roman numerals, since we're going to be introducing Roman numerals. And Fraction Action, again by Loren Lady. And then this was one, I kind of just wanted it as a Michigan girl whose boys have never gotten to see snow and might not see snow for a good chunk of their lives. I had heard that this was a really beautiful book about a town experiencing a blizzard and coming together to deal with it. And so I got that used, good price on thrift books. Then another Spanish resource, La Pata Pita Vuelve, which is a workbook associated with La Pata Pita, which is the primer I've been using to teach my son to read in Spanish. I'm going to have to look at this a little bit closer to see if the lessons are associated with certain lessons in that book or if we can just do them completely separately. It feels a little bit Explode the Code-ish to me, maybe on the more advanced levels of Explode the Code, where you're working on reading, you're working with what words mean, understanding things, looking at pictures, figuring out, okay, is this cinco, cuarto, cuatro, o cual? So we kind of have some similar sounding words. Which one fits that picture? And like what blends are being represented in certain pictures. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to look at this a little bit closer to see if my son is ready to start this or if we'll hold off on this for a little bit while he continues to finish working on the Pata Pita reading primer. Then one more thing, which I actually did not order. It was a gift from my sister to me, but I felt like I had to show it because we all love books here. We all appreciate books here, and just look at the size of that thing. First of all, the size was the first thing I noticed, and that impressed me. And then looked at it. Second thing I noticed was I have never heard of these books before. The Books of Earthsea, the complete illustrated edition, Ursula K. Le Guin. I've never heard of this. You have to let me know if you have heard of this series. It is, I guess, a classic fantasy series. My sister had this exact copy and thought I would enjoy it, so she bought this for me as a gift. So as you can tell, my family knows my appreciation for books, but what shocked me the most is that I had never heard of this series from anywhere, because I feel like I probably ought to have. So it's about 1,000 pages and several books in here. I've got some reading to do, don't I? All right, I hope you really enjoyed getting to see all these new resources that we'll be adding to our homeschool in the coming year or 2 years. We tend to buy in chunks at a time, since when we have suitcases and luggage coming, we know we need to make the most of it. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you want to stick around for more nerdy homeschool videos, you can definitely click the subscribe button and keep coming back, because I will definitely be back with more videos like this. I'll be seeing you. Bye!